If you would like an opportunity to be on Crazy Love Chronicles and tell your story of betrayal, infidelity, ghosting, being ghosted, catfish, and many more things, crazy relationships, contact us at crazylovechronicles@gmail.com or send us a message on any of our social media platforms and we will contact you. Please stay tuned for our next session. Our story, your story, real and uncut.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Crazy Love Chronicles with your host, Shanel Black. Today, I would like to introduce our guest, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us today. And so, for this story, you are the side dude.
yes, I was.
All right. So, for this particular situation that you're sharing, how did you meet this person?
Well, I met this person previously when I used to work at a barber shop, and I used to cut her son's hair. And so at that time, we were both single. You know, we never like we always flirted, but we never dealt with each other. So years passed. I stopped working there. We both got married, and I say 5 years later, after I divorced my ex, we ran into one another, and she was married, but they were separated and like back and forth and stuff like that. And so that's how the relationship kicked off.
So you guys always kind of had an attraction and a chemistry to each other.
Yeah, we were always like flirtatious with one another, but I met my ex-wife, and so, you know, I had cut her off.
Okay.
And like after we split, then we met back up.
Well, you said you cut her off, so how did you get in contact with her again?
She happened to walk past the new shop that I was working at.
Oh, okay.
We saw each other, we spoke, and she got my number, and that's how we got back into communication with one another.
So you guys were happy to see each other and happy to reconnect?
Yeah, because we were always cool, you know what I'm saying? We always just had cool conversation whenever she would come into the shop, you know what I'm saying? It was never a bad vibe.
Okay, cool. So what happens after you two exchange phone numbers?
She would reach out to me periodically, and then, you know, we would flirt and talk via text and on the phone. And what was weird to me was, like, she would video call me and stuff and be with her guy, and
Whoa.
he would just be like nonchalant about it. I was like, okay. It was weird to me, you know what I'm saying? Because if I was in a relationship, a girl is not video chatting no dude beside me. You know what I'm saying? That's not, you know what I'm saying? You got to explain the nature of this call and why y'all got to be looking at each other. And what is the communication purpose? And, you know, we were on the phone for a while, and it wasn't even talking about, like, haircuts or anything. It was just, conversation like you on the phone in high school, just kicking it.
Okay, well, do you think he had the impression that it was just strictly platonic friendship based on what he could overhear?
I don't think he cared.
Okay.
One way or the other. You know what I'm saying? It was weird. Like, whatever they had going on is weird. And so, like, that's the only reason why I even considered, like, taking a relationship further, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Or even dealing with her in a sexual nature.
Okay. Did it seem like they kind of had maybe a business kind of marriage where, you know, it's over mentally and emotionally, but we're going to stay together for other purposes, like the kids or the house or the business or something like that?
I really couldn't put my finger on what it was. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very discerning. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so... But whatever their relationship was, it was just like chaos. When I did go over there one time, all his stuff was packed up, you know what I'm saying, sitting at the front door, and like he came back and then he left again. It was, and this is like in a 3-week period, you know what I'm saying? He left, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just total chaos. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, because normally I wouldn't put myself in no situation like that. You know what I'm saying? This was my first experience. Another reason why I considered putting myself in that situation, because most of the women in the city I live in Baltimore, aren't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they running game anyway. So, you know, any woman that I've pursued in Baltimore is like, I always find out that they full of shit. You know what I'm saying?
So they're not straight. They're not real in as far as your experiences go.
Yeah, hell no. Not at all. Not in the least or the slightest. So that's why I even considered putting myself in that situation, because I was like, whatever they had, their marriage, they don't honor it. So, you know what I'm saying? If they don't respect it, why should I? You know what I'm saying? And that could have been bad thinking at that time, or selfish thinking, but I really didn't care because they didn't care.
Okay. And so how does it unfold from being conversations over the phone to, you know, let's meet up or let's hook up or let's date?
One day we were texting, and so I was working an overnight job, and she texted me and said she wanted me to come over in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I was like, come on. I was like, you know what time I get off? Like, I was getting off probably like 5:30, maybe 6 in the morning, and then I would go straight to the barbershop and go to work. And so she was like, she wanted me to come over. And she said, because I want to see you and I want to be with you. Like, she was like extremely direct and blunt, and I was like, oh, shit.
Okay, so basically she wanted some sex and she let you know straight up.
Yes, she flat out, like a nigga would. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how she was. And so I was like, I was up for it. But like, I wasn't immediately up for it because I was actually at work talking to my friend, my coworker and my best friend. And I'm telling her she's a dom female. And so I'm telling her, I'm like, yeah, shorty who hair I used to cut, she want me to come over in the morning. And she's like, what you gonna do? And you know what I'm saying? I was bouncing it back and forth in my mind, and then I just decided to go over there. And we had a great experience, you know what I'm saying? But like, it only lasted, I say probably like a month. Mm-hmm. I cut it off because she told me when I was leaving one day, she said, yeah, you know you next in line. I'm like, what you talking about? She's like, yeah, when I leave him for good, you up. I was like, hell no, I'm not. I'm not gonna let you. What was you talking about? And so that's when I just cut it off completely, because I was like, you know what I'm saying? There is no possible way I'm going to trust her. You know what I'm saying? Ever. You know what I'm saying? In any capacity, like, of a relationship and us, like, being together, I couldn't possibly trust her. You know what I'm saying? And her expectation was that I would be up for it. And, like, the sex was great, but nah. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't dictate us moving into a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And that was totally out of the question, because, you know what I'm saying, how can I expect you to be faithful to me and you was unfaithful in your fucking marriage? You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was befuddled by her fucking logic and that shit. Like,
right.
Like, and it was like an instant fucking turn off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was instantly unattracted to her in that exact moment. And it's not because I don't want to be in a relationship, but I have an ethical standard for a relationship that I'm in.
Right.
And I have a respect and trust and loyalty, and to try to build something off of a foundation that is cracked, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I couldn't do it.
Right. So you didn't feel like, you know, starting off a relationship, you know, being where you two were, where she was basically stepping out on her own husband, you didn't feel like that was going to be a good foundation for anything that you wanted for your future?
Hell no. No way. That would be foolish thinking. If you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, that's just my rationale on it. You know, it may work for other people, but it wouldn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people have to address their issues before they move on. Like, most people need to address their issues before they move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people try to transition out of a relationship into another one, but that's very unhealthy, because, like, even with, like, when it comes to dating, I can't date multiple women at the same time, because then my focus will be off. And so I might miss a red flag or something trying to juggle two. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, nowadays. Like, you gotta have laser focus on the person because everybody's fucking playing games because nobody trusts nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not without reason, but yeah, like, I couldn't transition into that because I couldn't trust her at all starting off. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you have to, like, starting off, you just give someone trust. You know what I'm saying? And her, I couldn't give that to her because I would always have the expectation of her dishonesty or being disloyal.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you never looked at her as potentially being anything more than a fling, a hookup.
Now, prior, like when we were flirting, prior to either one of us getting married, yeah, the potential was there. You know what I'm saying? But then the reason why I didn't ever pursue it is because I felt like it was just like she was sneaky. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then there was still a curiosity.
Right. So
but I never pursued it.
How did she respond to your reaction to what she said? Was she hurt, or was she just did she laugh it off?
She didn't even acknowledge this shit. She didn't give a fuck what I said. She didn't give a fuck. And she's hit me up. She actually hit me up on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And she always hit me up. She asked me if I'm at the shop or if I'm on my way to the shop. I'm like, yeah, I'm here or I'm on my way. And she always says she gonna come and bring her son through, and she never comes. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just keep it business. You know what I'm saying? And like, I normally don't deal with clients. Like, this is the first time like I had ever dealt with a client, but she wasn't a current client. You know what I'm saying? I may have cut her son hair one time. She isn't like a consistent current client. You know, I don't know. She's a real nigga.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I can say. She is straight up.
So when
West Side certified.
When she said that to you, was that it? Was that the end at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Because I didn't want to mislead her on in any way with those type of feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I'm saying? That's where I had to disengage.
Do you think you were the only one on the side that she was dealing with or sexually active with?
I believe so, because she has some issues. I believe her to have respect about herself.
Okay.
I believe she was acting out of frustration, and like, you know what I'm saying, like, some couples don't want to be with each other, but they don't want to see the other person with somebody else.
Yeah.
I think that's what they are doing mutually. It's just a very, very toxic situation. I believe her to be a respectable person about herself.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? You know what I'm saying? People wear masks.
True. So thinking back on it today, what are your thoughts and reflections on it?
Do that shit again. That shit is, you know what I'm saying? That is not cool. You know what I'm saying? And, like, if that situation was to happen, it would only happen because they found some way to totally keep me out of the loop.
Okay, so that was it for you. You would never entertain that ever again.
No, but you know, it's crazy how a lot of married women are unhappily married and have side dudes.
So you think that's pretty common? Then society realizes
it is becoming the norm. Like couples sleeping in separate bedrooms, and it's weird, but it's very common. Like, I met another young lady. She's married, as well, and she steps out on her husband from time to time because she's not sexually happy with him or in love with him. Like, she's just there because they have a son that she's waiting to graduate from high school. So she says, but like, I don't entertain, like, I'm strictly just a platonic friend with her. But she's very open with the situation, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, you know, and it's becoming a common thing.
I believe that. I think that a lot of people are married and they're living as roommates, you know? Yeah. And they're hanging on and not, you know, making the decision to just separate and move on. And
I believe social media to be a big part of that, because people look at pictures and see facades, but they think these Like they add their imaginative thought to the pictures and think that people are living these great lives, and so then they want that, and so then they go back and they use that as a tool of measure for their own relationship. These pictures of a facade, and then they become unhappy. You know what I'm saying? And so, when in all actuality, if they would just look at their own life and paint the picture that they want to see, then they could be happy. Or not even happy, like have joy, because like happiness only comes from happening. You know what I'm saying? So people are looking for happiness in moments instead of trying to find joy for a lifetime.
True. There are statistics out there about that, you know, how looking at other people and couples and pictures on social media, how it's affecting people's perspectives of their own, because most people are going to put out the best images that they have of themselves, you know, the best snapshots of their life that looks like everything's perfect. And that's what people believe. And then they compare it to their own and think that they don't have as much, or think that they're not as happy. So you're right.
Absolutely. And you see it all the time where they let that destroy their household. It's actually very sad. And then you have people, you know, I don't knock nobody's lifestyle, but like then you have people that decide to change their the sex in which they deal with because of their unhappiness. I had a close friend text me and she said, man, I think I'm about to start dealing with a girl. And I said, but you don't even like women. She said, I know. But she said she tired of these niggas.
Tired of getting her heart broken.
But this is the thing. She cheats on her man. You know what I'm saying? Like, she tells me about it. Like, she talks to me about it. And I'm like, I don't fucking understand. Like, one minute you say you want a woman, you know you're not attracted to women. You know what I'm saying? And, like...
Maybe she's just curious.
She's not curious. She's not curious at all. Not at all. She's just frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's frustrated and needs to deal with her own deep hidden emotion that she, like pent up emotions that she has. You know what I'm saying? Because she feeds off her own thoughts, and a lot of times she's just going off the deep end for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? I believe she lies to herself. And I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I definitely agree with you. Well, I want to thank you so much, Jay, for your time and for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Sure. We wish you and our listeners happiness, healing, and hope. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to Crazy Love Chronicles. You can check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can stay tuned to us on Spreaker, Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube, but please be sure to subscribe. Click the bell to be notified for future videos by Crazy Love Chronicles. Our story, your story, real and uncut.